It's obviously great. Anytime you get to hear his voice, see his face, um, he's obviously been doing his homework in between his downtimes to help us get prepared for the series. And you know he misses being around, the day-to-day routine and the atmosphere and practice and locker rooms and games and all that. So for him to even just have the energy and the ability to be here means a lot. So hopefully he's feeling better. Since we left, I think since we left, we saw him right before he went to Duke, back to North Carolina. So.
Did he get him from the team at all, or his scouting report or anything like that?
He was one of the coaches in our pregame film, just giving his assessment of the series and things we need to do well. And obviously, Coach Brown led most of it, but he was present.
What are some of the things that you guys need to do well against this team?
Most of the focus is on rebounding. When we went down there the last game, our last time playing in the regular season, they jumped on us in that first quarter because they made some shots, but most of them were second, third, fourth opportunities, and you got to be able to win the possession game against them. Very similar to Utah with that mindset of not turning the ball over, not allowing them extra possessions with offensive rebounds and things like that. Because the numbers when we play well against them, we've either been even or had more field goal attempts than they did, and we're able to get the tempo up. And when you're taking the ball out of bounds after makes, or fouling them and letting them get to the free throw line, or having to defend 3 or 4 possessions because you're giving up rebounds, and we can't get out and run like we want to. So we have to really focus on that, and team rebound is going to be huge.
Well, so you have to play defense all over again.
For sure.
Is it going to be odd to see David Lee in a playoff series?
Nah, it'll be same old. Just we've seen him in different jerseys since he's left here, and he's a part of that Spurs identity. That is, I guess, saying that is weird, but we'll be ready for what he brings off the bench for them, for sure.
Do you stay in touch with him at all?
Yeah, good amount.
Steph, David West just mentioned how playing for the Spurs was a bucket list thing, but then coming here was something he really wanted to experience as well. I mean, what does that mean to you to hear that at this stage? Just how much he wanted to play with this group.
It means obviously we're doing good things, and he understands from asking people or watching or playing against us, and what kind of culture we have here, what we or how we try to play every night, how much fun we have doing what we do. We tried to get him the year before. He didn't want to have it, so maybe I got a little chip. It took us an extra year to get him on our team. But it's nice that he can bring some experience, having played in San Antonio last year, about just kind of the way they think and things that they might do, adjustments they might make. But at the end of the day, we have to go out and just execute, and he's a part of that too.
Kevin remarked yesterday he thought Utah was a good warm-up for these guys. They do a lot of the similar things, and do you agree with that?
They have they have the same mindset of like I said, winning the possession game, grinding and being physical, wearing on the opposing team. They have a whole other animal, obviously, in low post scoring with LaMarcus that Utah really didn't necessarily have. But they execute, their sets and the things that they really want to do. They really are. Methodical is not a great word, but a great way of explaining just their mindset of getting flow and being purposeful about everything that they do. So it's going to be, like I said, they're a team that doesn't necessarily, rarely ever beats themselves. You have to go in and outplay them, and that's why they're so consistent.
Parker out, how is he starting Kawhi does a lot of the facilitating. How good is he at that?
He demands a lot of attention. Obviously, he's a proven scorer. Gotten much more versatile with the way that he can impact the offensive end. And when you are a guy that demands that much attention, whether you're coming off a pick and roll or coming off a screen or even just coming in transition, you are able to open it up for other guys, and he has pretty good court vision. So you're gonna have to send bodies at him, but we're gonna have to rotate around, behind whoever's engaged in that defense on the ball. And it's going to take a lot of energy and focus and communication just to know where everybody is and be able to make the right reads at the right times.
Steph, in the last series, they had a lot of success, San Antonio, leaving their big back in the pick and roll on James Harden, fighting over the screen. Do you think you guys can get them out of that with your shooting ability?
I hope they do that for us. Please do it. Do it. That would be. We have a lot of scorers that can do it a lot of different ways. Obviously, you don't want to fight their defense and try to keep doing things that they're trying to take away. You kind of want to, go to the spots where the defense gives you so that you can be able to make those plays and try to make it as easy as possible on yourself. But I feel like we have the versatility to be able to, attack those pick and rolls, and whether it's the guy with the ball ending up with the basket or if you're able to drive and kick, whatever the case may be, just try to make the right reads.
Steph, how much do you remember that draft 10 years ago, KD, and just the hype around who was going to be the guy, and how far have you seen Kevin come in 10 years?
Well, we were in the same freshman class of college, so I was always chasing KD's numbers. That my freshman year, anytime I had a good game, he was always our points per game were really close, and then he kind of took off down the stretch of that freshman year. But I knew he was pretty much a one and done type situation. I didn't follow the draft that much that year, but for somebody that has so much potential and hype around him to actually see it, to fruition with that kind of pressure and that kind of spotlight, and almost exceed expectations throughout his career, it's a mark of a guy that wasn't complacent with where he was at any point and always wanted to get better, and he's done that.
Physically, at this point in the season, how much better do you feel now than you did a year ago at this time?
All besides my injury, I feel pretty much the same. But when you don't have to deal with anything like that, then it's obviously helpful. So hopefully that continues.
Greg Popovich said today, in terms of stopping your high-flying offense, he used the word pray.
Gamesmanship. I love it. I love it.
Is that good?
Does he ever talk to you from the sidelines while you're on the court?
Nah. Talked to him when he coached the All-Star team, and maybe I've seen him in the tunnel or something like that, but nothing on the sidelines.
You surprised at all about how David's fit in there? Or?
No, he can play, and he's a playmaker and great with the ball in his hands. I thought that'd be actually a great fit with his style, because he always is creating ball movement, and he's really good at kind of playing pick and roll and figuring out ways to slice through defenses. He's an amazing finisher at the rim, like we've always seen. So his game really fits their style and how much they move the ball.
And just flowers in the car, just into the house.
Anything special, like bags you house for the holiday?
A house for Mother's Day? Nah, not no house. She didn't really ask for nothing. Keep it simple. Yeah.
Especially during this journey
Great. She's been there every step of the way, even before being here. She's always been a positive influence. Always texting me and calling me, asking me how I'm doing. But you know, no matter what's going on, she's always trying to keep my spirits up. You know, whether it's a good game, bad game, we lose, loss or win, you know, she remained the same, and I know I can, you know, go to her whenever I need, you know, advice or just someone to talk to that I just need to lift my spirits.
Does she give basketball advice, or more like?
She tries to. It's a little deeper than what she knows, but she does her best to try to, you know, do her research and find out what's going on so she can, you know, kind of critique me. I can say that. But
Mike has talked about how he's leaning on David West a little bit, being that he played for the Spurs last season. How have you noticed that?
I mean, ask him questions and he gives us answers in the, you know, in the pregame or during practice. Anything that, you know, we feel like we can, that D-West can help us with. You know, knowing those guys, playing with those guys, you know, try to use it in our schemes and try to get better.
That's kind of a role he's had all season, right? Not just because of
he plays. He's been playing this league for a long time, so he knows, you know, ins and outs, and he's a very smart player. He does his research to make sure he gets an advantage, you know, against his opponent, and he just try to bring that to the team.
Yeah, what did that 36-point game mean? I mean, it was a weird game, but you go for 36 against the team. Does that mean something different?
I don't know if it means something different. I mean, obviously, you know, it was a good game for me. It built up a lot of confidence in myself, but, you know, of course, I mean, I know the circumstances of who wasn't playing. And
still 36.
Yeah, still 36 points, but you know, I guess I would try to use that as some confidence against these guys. You want to use anything that you can against, you know, a team, especially being in the playoffs. So.
Remember what you were thinking going in that game, knowing Steph and all those guys?
Just to be aggressive. You know, the coach told me that, you know, I would go in a little earlier, of course. But, you know, when I get out there, I just wanted to, you know, try to win the game. And that was being aggressive on the offensive end. You know, being simple, but just going all out and trying to play my game.